Biggest companies on the planet is working to get more people in the internet service field, and they've partnered with a university right here in the metro.
First Alert 6's Joe Harris tells us what the buzz is about.
Cloud services extend beyond storing pictures and video. They include music, banking, and shopping, with demand growing.
There are currently 5 million unfilled cloud jobs across the U.S., and that is supposed to double by the end of this decade. So there's a lot of opportunity.
Amazon Web Services says it's hiring thousands of people for its own cloud-based roles, and for Amazon clients, it's also offering people a path to snagging those jobs, the AWS Cloud Institute program.
We really did build this program to help our customers, partners, clients gain access to this entry-level, diverse talent that we're building.
The 9-month virtual program teaches coding and how to generate language models and build AI applications.
We have people in the program that were in customer service, customer support. We have people that have coming to us from healthcare imaging, and they're looking to break into the cloud side of the businesses that they're in, and they're using our program to do that.
Amazon says Bellevue University is the first institution it's collaborating with on this program because of its strong employer-partner network.
We work with employer organizations, and we help transform their business by transforming their people. And we have this high focus on employee growth planning. So it made us really uniquely qualified to help connect these working learners.
No matter your technical background.
We make no prerequisite assumptions about IT or cloud skills. We teach everything from the ground up to enable the learners to get all the basics they need to start building advanced compute, storage, networking, AI applications on top of the cloud.
Bellevue University says once you've completed the program's capstone, Amazon, its clients, or anyone else looking for entry-level cloud talent can hire you for between $50,000 and $80,000 per year. In Omaha, Joe Harris, First Alert 6.
You can also use those credits towards completing your undergraduate degree and for supervisor or management roles in the field. If you'd like to learn more about the AWS Cloud Institute or you want to enroll, just head to our website, firstalerts6.com.